This is K1DBC. All stations please stand by. The DRC Learning Net starts in 5 minutes.
W0TX repeater.
This is K1DBC. The DRC Learning Net will start in 1 minute. All stations please stand by while the repeaters are placed into net mode.
PL off.
Hello, and welcome back to the Denver Radio Club Learning Net. This is Kilo 1, Delta Bravo Charlie. My name is Daron, and I am Net Control. This is a casual conversation where we can discuss ham radio and STEM topics in general. And thankfully, we have plenty of combined expertise and experience. We meet every Wednesday except the third Wednesday of the month at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time on 145.490 and 448.625. Both have a negative 600 kilohertz offset, meaning you transmit on 144.890 or 448.025. This net can be broken at any time for emergency or priority traffic by using the word break. Is there any emergency or priority traffic at this time? You can contact us via email at drclearningnet@gmail.com or hamlearningnet@groups.io. We also post info at groups.io/g/hamlearningnet, as well as stream and archive our nets on youtube.com/WEREGR8. You can also search for W0TX or K1DBC. This is K1DBC Net Control. We will begin by inviting Elmers only to check in with or without traffic. All Elmers, please check in now.
Alpha 0, Juliet Kilo, AA0JK with traffic. Good evening.
All right, Net Control, I'd like to welcome and acknowledge the following Elmer, AA0JK, Fred with traffic. Good evening, as always. One more call if you'd like to check in to the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net as an Elmer or subject matter expert. Please do so with your call sign, your name, and let us know if you have any traffic. If you'd like to check in as an Elmer, please call now. All right, all other check-ins to the net will be taken in alphabetical groups based on the first letter of the suffix of your call sign. That would be the first letter after the number in your call sign. If you can, please try to use I2 phonetics as you check in and indicate if you have traffic or a question as you do. If your suffix begins with letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, please check in now.
Zero Kilo Papa Sierra, Kevin Lakewood, no traffic.
November 0, Echo Yankee Zulu, Jim, South Jefferson County, no traffic.
W0TX repeater.
Kilo 6 Hotel Juliet Victor, K6H Tom, Arvada, no traffic.
W0 Foxtrot Charlie, Jerry, no traffic.
Kilo Alpha 0, Victor Bravo Alpha, no traffic.
WD0 CIB, no traffic.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Alpha Whiskey Charlie, Brian Wheat Ridge, no traffic.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. We'll go ahead and hold up there for just a moment. All right, Net Control acknowledges and welcomes the following check-ins. K0KPS Kevin, N0EYZ Jim, I may have that a little bit backwards. I'll check here in a moment. K6HAV Tom, W0FFC Jerry, KA0VBA Curtis, WD0CIV Charles, and KF0AWC Brian. Thank you all for checking in. Okay, yeah, that was the correct call for Jim there, N0YZ. One more call. If your suffix begins with the letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, please check in now.
November 1, Golf Uniform Mike, Peter in Littleton.
Whiskey Delta 6, Delta Oscar Kilo, Rich in Arvada, no traffic.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I'd like to welcome and acknowledge the following check-ins. There was somebody trying to check in there at the beginning, and I really could not make anything out. There was a weird, warble on it. But then I also had November 1 GUM Peter and WD6 DOK Rich. If you had just tried to call in and I didn't call your call sign, go ahead and try once more.
Kilo Foxtrot 0 Alpha Foxtrot Quebec, Troy in Denver.
All right, got you that time, KF0AFQ Troy. I'm not sure what that was. If it was Del, I'm not sure, but got you that time. All right, I'll go and open the whole alphabet. This is K1DBC Net Control. If your suffix begins with the letters A through Z, Alpha through Zulu, please check in now.
Kilo 0 Yankee Echo Sierra, Ken in Broomfield.
All right, that time we had K0YES. Ken, thank you for checking in. One more time, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. General Q&A, general just discussion about ham radio electronics. So if you want to check in just for the count, or if you have any traffic or questions, we're taking all calls. Alpha through Zulu, let us know your call sign, your name, and if you have any traffic or questions, please call now.
Kilo Echo 0 Sierra Uniform Mike, no traffic, Jonathan, Lakewood.
Kilo India 5 Mike Oscar Papa Jay out of Evergreen from Claremore, Oklahoma.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. That time we had KE0 S.t.e.m Jonathan and KI5 MOP Jay. Nice to hear you in there. Welcome to the Denver area. Hopefully things are well for you. And if you have any questions, let us know.
K5 MOP. Nope, just traveling through, hanging out in Denver for the week. Enjoying my time so far. Thought I'd see if there's any nets going on around. Found you guys, and I'll be hanging out, listening in. Thanks, 7-3s.
All right, K5 MOP. Yeah, sounds good. Welcome to have you. All right. One more time, this is K1WC Net Control. We are taking check-ins online if you'd like. If you're not a ham radio operator, again on youtube.com/WEREGR8, or if you are a ham radio operator and you're not within the amateur radio or within our radio area, you can always check in on there. Also, just showing the video of what people will be bringing up. One more call, though. If you are on the air and you'd like to check into the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net, we're taking all calls A through Z. Please call now. Okay, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. You're more than welcome to check in at any given time. If there's a break in the conversation, feel free to do that. Otherwise, I'll be taking formal check-ins throughout the net. With that, though, I'll go ahead and throw it over to A0JK. Fred, with traffic, the net is yours.
AA0JK, good evening. Oh, we had a real good topic come up here, I guess the last couple of nets, where Rich, WD6DOK, spotted what we considered an error in the amateur radio handbook concerning proper grounding of your station. And we actually got a reply from the ARRL. Zach W0TX, that's Victor Tango, senior lab engineer, responded to our request for information concerning the graphics of that particular topic in the handbook 28.5. And the keen eye there of Rich noted that what they had in one of their diagrams consisted of a couple of daisy chain links between radios, which is taboo. And so we questioned it, and he came back and stated that considering the topic of minimizing voltage differences between the equipment chassis in our shack, that an RF bonding bus could be used, but also recommended that hams don't have unlimited funds. He got off in the weeds here. Limited funds to do so as being a best case scenario. But he actually admitted here that using a bus bar is the best way to ground your equipment to get a good balance. Let's see, how did he reply, state that? Anyhow, the RF ground low impedance across your equipment. He also stated that he got off into the weeds in twisted pair grounding, which was totally off topic, and grounding rods, which was totally off topic. And then he also brought up the topic that concerning for future references to go to the grounding and bonding book written by Ward Silver, which is an excellent book to have in the shack there. if you really want to delve a little bit deeper here into the topic. And let's see, what else did he mention here? That was about it, but he got off into the weeds there, down a rabbit hole in a couple of areas there. But reading between the lines, he did come up and say that using the bus bar method, which in that diagram in the handbook up in the upper right-hand corner actually showed the amateur station's equipment attached to a bus bar, each particular unit being attached to a bus bar, which is correct. So anyhow, I thought that was rather interesting. And let's see, what else? So that pretty much sums that up. If anybody has any questions concerning that, please let me know. And Rich, thank you very much for your bringing that subject up and helping us get some kind of an explanation there out of the ARRL. Break. Second topic here, I noticed that a couple days ago the ARRL had came out with a second edition of small antennas for small spaces, second edition, and they offered it at 40% off the regular price. So I had to order a copy of that, but they should have continued more than just one day of making that offer. Okay, one last item there that on the ARRL's webpage, please take note that there's a couple of groups that are offering amateur radio boot camp. You might want to take a look at those. It looks like there's some mighty great topics, not only just for the newly licensed ham radio operator, but also senior hams. So might take note of that also. So that's pretty much what we had and have for the moment. AA0JK, back to net control.
Delta Oscar Kilo.
All right, Fred, thanks for all that info. Yeah, Delta Oscar Kilo. Rich, go ahead.
Yeah, Fred, what I found interesting in that was that the first, on the first line there, they said they changed their views on it. So at one time they evidently did, well, didn't agree with the grounding on B with the daisy chaining, but I guess now they're saying because of financial issues that they'll go ahead and do it. I find that kind of interesting. I thought it was a safety thing, and that was more important on it. Anyway, Dorian, I was wondering if why you don't put your picture up on the YouTube page like Jim did. I was just wondering if you were planning on doing that. Okay, back to net. Whiskey Delta 6 Delta Oscar Kilo.
Comment.
All right, yeah, thanks there, DOK. Yeah, go ahead with the comment.
AA0JK. Yeah, I do not recommend that wiring setup that they showed there, as Doc pointed out. In that diagram, if you put that daisy chain configuration there, it creates a safety problem. Especially like when in the diagram where they had the linear amplifier, and then also you have a power supply. Now those two items there are very high voltage and can be extremely dangerous in the event of a malfunction. say for instance, a bleeder resistor in there attached to the capacitors, for some reason that part of the circuit is broken, then all of a sudden everything that you have there in that daisy chain configuration is hot, and you could get electrocuted there. So I would not recommend you wiring your station in that configuration. Keep all of those separate and into that bus bar. Do not connect those pieces of equipment together for safety reasons. A0JK.
Yeah, comment?
Yeah, DOK, go ahead.
Yeah, Fred, just for grins and giggles, I guess, 2021 book also shows this same pictorial, and I think you touched on it or addressed it, but up in A there, they show it going to one bus, everything, and then B, that it's contradicted. So, anyway, okay, back to net control, WD6DOK.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, to bring things back, there was a diagram in a ARL handbook that showed potential daisy chaining, and it sounds like DOK and Fred AA0JK had followed up with the ARL, one of the engineers, and he clarified that daisy chaining is not recommended for safety and or other purposes. So very, very cool on that. Glad you got some response on that as well.
W0TX repeater.
And thank you as well for all those other that other information. You mentioned the small antennas for small spaces, second edition. They had a discount on it. It looks like it's $22.95 though, so it's not too bad of a deal. And then you also mentioned the a boot camp. Looks like it's being put on by the Nashua Area Radio Society, NARS. April 24th. More info on their website, november1foxdelta.org, for their ham boot camp. Great info on all that.
Delta Oscar Kilo.
Yeah, Delta Oscar Kilo, go ahead.
Yeah, Fred, correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding from the response that you got back from ARRL, they're now saying that D, which is daisy chaining, is the appropriate way of doing this, or is an acceptable way of doing it now. That was my understanding. Is that correct?
That's what he implied, but I would avoid that at all cost. In no way, shape, or form should you have a common connection between your power supply and your radio, and especially not a linear amplifier and the rest of your equipment. Something goes wrong, everything on your operating bench will be hot. So I disagree with him there in that diagram. And he got off into the weeds saying that they recommended that lower diagram because of expense. Well, that he got off into the weeds on that because he was talking about ground rods and then an entire network there. In other words, your antennas, grounding, and then your external grounding outside of the shack. And he kind of got off in the weeds there, went right down a rabbit hole. So my recommendation is avoid any daisy chain linking. You don't want, for safety purposes, you don't want to have all that gear connected together in the event of one of them losing its chassis ground and becoming hot. You don't want everything to wind up being hot. AA0JK, boy, we beat this one to smithereens.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we were clear on it, that they now are saying that B, daisy chaining is their idea or their correct way of doing it. And again, I find it interesting that they say that because it's an expense thing. Safety goes out the window, I guess, then. That's what the deal is here. So they're saying you can go ahead and ground it. It's cheaper to do it. But like you say, if you lose one of those braids, if you will, on any one of the pieces of equipment down the line, the next one in line is going to be open, and you're going to have a problem. So, okay, I don't mean to, we beat this to death pretty good, this horse. And anyway, I just wanted to make sure that we were clear on the diagram. Both diagrams are, I think, kind of contradictory. A shows the way we understand it going to one bus and then to ground, and B shows daisy chaining. So that was my issue. And again, it's in the current handbook as well. Okay, I've said enough. Back to net. WD60, okay.
Okay, Doc, yes. That is correct. You are correct from my point of view. And let's kind of stick with what they call the old system. That is the good system. I don't agree with what you caught there in their diagram. I'm glad that your eagle eye picked up on that and it gave us an opportunity to contact the ARRL, get their feedback, and also to be able to bring it here to the net here for discussion. And grounding is important, especially when you have high voltage equipment like some of the linear power supplies. You've got extremely high voltages there, and definitely in linear amplifiers. And you don't want those grounds hooked to the other equipment on your bench. Back to net control, and thank you very much, Rich. AA0JK. Back to net control.
You're welcome, Fred, and thank you for sending off a note to ARRL. WD60, okay.
All right, sounds good. WD60 okay and AA0JK Fred. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Yeah, glad we got that hashed out and at least understand what's written, but maybe what's different in best practice is maybe a little bit different. So excellent. Yeah, and to address the question about Jim's face here on the thumbnails, I had cropped out that for him and did that. So I might be doing that soon for myself. I just need to find a good photo and maybe start doing those stupid pointing in one direction and looking stupid funny kind of video thumbnail. But yeah, no, just trying to spruce up the YouTube a little bit here, and appreciate you noticing that. So with that though, I guess I'll bring up Kevin Schmidt, K0 KPS, in the chat here had brought up the COM Academy. Let me drop for a moment. If you go to the arl.org/news, it's set for April 11th through the 12th. It's a 2-day training, talks and information on emergency communications and amateur radio. This year's theme is disasters. Here, there, and everywhere are we ready. Registration is free and is required to gain access to the complete schedule and Academy materials. It's entirely virtual and hosted online, headquartered in Seattle. COM Academy is attended and supported by organizations including ARES, Amateur Radio Emergency Services, RACES, Radio Amateur Civil Emergency Services, and ACS, the Auxiliary Communications Service, EOC, Civil Air Patrol, Coast Guard Auxiliary, REACT, CERT, among others. So all interested in emergency communications, amateur radio, and communications are welcome to network and share the experience. Event focuses on education for communications leaders, volunteers, and professionals. More info on it's the arl.org/news. It was an article from today, and it'll take you to an Eventbrite registration link. Okay, with that, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. I'll go ahead and just take this opportunity to take formal check-ins. If you've just tuned in, again, my name is Daron, call sign Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie. I'm Net Control for the Learning Net. It's an on-air meeting, casual get-together, Q&A for radiometers seeking help, and Elmers and others giving their time to help us. So, and everyone is welcome to join in. If anyone wishes to check in at this time, please try to do so with your call sign in ITU phonetics, your name, and state if you have traffic or questions for the net. Please call now.
November 0, Tango Romeo Papa, late check-in, Jim in Lakewood. Good evening.
All right, Net Control, I'd like to welcome to Knowledge the following check-in. N0TRP, Jim, thanks for checking in. One more time, if you'd like to check into the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net, please do so with your call sign, your name. Let us know if you have any traffic or questions. Please call now.
W0.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Again, once more, we are broadcasting this net over on youtube.com/WEREGR8, Whiskey Edward Romeo, Edward Golf Romeo 8. You can also search for my call sign K1DBC or the club's call sign W0TX. You should be able to find it there. And when I can keep up, I'm showing what we're speaking about. But if you ever miss the net or want to hear back your audio or anything else, that is an option. You can always check in there as well. So at this time, though, is there anyone else with any other comments, questions, topics, check-ins for the net? Please call now. WC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. I could probably bring some things up, but we're only about halfway through the net. If you have any comments, questions, check-ins, anything you'd like to bring up for the net, please call now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. We talking about soldering recently, soldering projects, mostly through-hole soldering, which means you put the component through the PCB board, you bend the wires on the other side, and you perform a simple solder to those components. We spoke on the Elmers session about surface mount soldering. So surface mount soldering is it does not go through the PCB as you would kind of think, and it just sits on the surface. So these are very, very small components, and you use, instead of a solder, you can use a solder, but something else you can use is a hot air rework station. Let me drop for a moment here. Air rework station is basically a very concentrated, dialed-in heat gun, and you can use that to reflow the solder on surface mount soldering. So you would, just like normal soldering, you place solder wick on the contacts, and then, or not solder wick, excuse me, solder paste, and then you would place the very small components onto that, and then you would place them all in line, set everything up, and then you would pass over it with a heat gun, or you can put it into, people have made toaster ovens into rework stations. So if you have any interest in surface mount soldering, one of a recent project is the binary decoder soldering kit by Jim Heaney. We've spoken about. He's an industrial engineering student at Rochester Institute of Technology, and he's putting together electronics projects as an exercise for himself for schematic capture, bill of material generation, PCB layout, electronics design and assembly. And so we get to have a cool kit for that. So he has a Kickstarter. If you just look him up, Jim and last name Heaney, Heaney, and you can purchase this. It's a $15 to $20 or so, but a lot of fun.
Question.
Yeah, D, okay with the question. Go ahead.
I haven't read all that, but what is the purpose of this kit that you're putting together?
Fair enough, absolutely. Yeah, I didn't explain that. It's a binary decoder. So just like the ones and zeros. So it's just from bit 0 to bit 7, and it basically just converts binary into decimal. It's really not ham radio related, really. But it is just a really good, it comes with, it looks like 20, 30 components. So it'd be really good practice, and it's a fairly cheap kit. Ham radio related, there's the QRP kits, I think by QR Labs or QRPkits.com. I think these may be SMD, and these are more ham radio related, but this is just a cheap project. It's just really an example, just a way to teach you how to do surface mount solder.
Okay, and they actually do suggest one of the ways of doing it is placing it into an oven and letting that heat it up and actually do the bonding. I can tell you right now, my wife would have an issue with that if she was still alive.
Gotcha. Yeah, sorry to hear about that, but yeah, absolutely. Yeah, over the years, hackers have been using toaster ovens, pairing them with Arduinos and ESP32s, getting them on wireless, basically just temperature controlled PID. I forget what that stands for. Give me a second here.
Toaster Pop-Tarts.
No, it's P as in Papa.
All right, thanks there, guys. Yeah, this is a proportional integral derivative controller. You can use an Arduino to basically drive something that needs temperature sensing. People have been using them for like homemade sous vide cookers, and you can use them to control. You can buy just a cheap toaster oven, either new or used, and then you can pair it with an Arduino, and as long as you have the schematics, you can use that to reflow PCBs. So people have been using them if they have low or some medium count projects that they're producing. But you could certainly, it's probably cheap enough just to do one-offs now. So yeah, you can repurpose a general toaster oven, and as long as you know what you're doing, you can use that to reflow.
So what about the rest of the components on the board? I mean, there's plastic and so forth. If you're going to reach temperatures of, I don't know, what does solder flow at, 160-something degrees, but is there a chance of melting other components on the board?
Good question. It's not something I've ever done, but it's something that people with a lot more experience and a lot more education definitely have been doing over the last 5 to 10 years or so. I'd imagine, you're gonna have to do the components that wouldn't melt at those certain points. So yeah, I don't know what components you could use and whatnot through that sort of process. But I'd imagine I probably have to have the same consideration maybe with a heat gun or reflow iron as well.
Well, a gun would be more direct, correct?
Yeah, it would be direct.
W0TX repeater.
All right, yeah, I'll need to do a little bit more information digging on how those reflow ovens work. But yeah, they're really, really neat. And yeah, you can, if you just search for reflow oven and toaster oven, you'll find plenty of examples and probably a lot of info. All right, so yeah, we were speaking about surface mount soldering. If you have any interest in soldering and you want to get a little bit more in depth with that, this is a pretty cool kit. Not sure if a reflow iron is completely needed. I mean, if you're doing just one, you might be able to get away with just a soldering iron or potentially a heat gun. But for sure, a reflow, a rework station, more concentrated heat gun, or at least finer tips for the heat gun. If you have an existing heat gun, you should be able to repurpose that. So, yeah, pretty cool.
What's the price of this board? It's not $12,331, is it?
No. This is that's just the amount that he's raised for this project. It's about $15, I think. If you pledge $15, you get the board itself with all the components.
Okay, thank you.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning, and I'm sure I could bring up a couple things, but if anybody else has any other comments, questions, check-ins, or anything else you'd like to bring up for the net, please call now.
KC0 LCD Kilo Charlie 0 Lima Charlie Delta Derek.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I'd like to welcome all to the following check-ins. KC0 LCD Derek, thank you for checking in.
Yeah, I also had one question. PBQ, the mailbox, packet mailbox you guys have. Are you familiar with those?
Sorry, my audio cut off there a little bit, but I think you were asking about the Denver Radio Club packet network mailboxes. Is that correct?
Hey, firm, is it B? I can't remember the acronym for it's not BBC, it's a different one.
Sorry. Yeah, we do host the Denver Radio Club hosts a packet network with mailboxes and bulletin board systems, but a bunch of other clubs in the area does as well. Do you know what frequencies or clubs or do you what specific info are you looking for?
I'm sorry, I'm mobile at the moment. Yeah, it's a W0TX. It was your guys's, and I I can't remember the term on it, BQP or something. It was a different term, and I guess it has a routing capability nationwide.
Comment?
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm not too sure. I know we have the Echo link, which is internet connected, but there was another comment in there. Go ahead.
KF0AFQ. I just wonder if the station's asking or trying to come up with the acronym IRLP. Duran, back to you.
I'm trying packet for packet data, not voice, no voice.
All right, gotcha. Yeah, I'm not too sure. Yeah, I know. I mean, we do have a packet network, which is a VHF. Let's see, it's the 2 meters, and it's linked with an HF gateway. But it's just the like the BBS, just regular kind of packet radio. I don't know if we host any like BKPS, or there's or I think we might do some IRLP, but I'm not too sure. Anyone else on that, or any other follow up on that? Derek, go ahead. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. Yeah, I'm not too sure specifically on that. I mean, I've messed around with our packet network. Let me see what programs. It was just I was just using my VHF radio. But anyone else on that, or packet radio, or anything else on that? Go ahead. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, if you think about, if you can remember what you're trying to think about there, LCD Derek, yeah, definitely let us know, either here on the net or via email or however, and we're always listening on the air as well. Yeah, I know there's different digital modes. There's like QPSK, and there's some other modes like that, but I'm not sure if we do any transmission of that. It's seems to be a little bit more ad hoc, but good question though. Okay, this is Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. If you have any comments, questions, check-ins, or anything else you'd like to bring up for the net, please let us know. Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. I can bring a couple things up. If nobody else has anything, let me know. Otherwise, I'll pass a few things.
W0TX Repeater.
All right, this is K1WC Net Control over on the RTL-SDR blog, our Romeo Tango Lima-Sierra Delta Romeo.com. Blog post here about using the base station software for ADS-B control. So if you want kind of a radar on your screen and tracking flights ahead, flights above you, if you have a software-defined radio, there's some options for you to use this pretty neat looking software here to track the airplanes. Another article here demonstrating how speakers can become an unintentional RF transmitter. YouTube channel Privacy and Tech Tips has uploaded a video showing how you used a software-defined radio to pick up RF emissions coming from some speakers that were unintentionally acting as a wireless microphone. He goes to show how you can clean up the noisy received audio, and using the noise reduction filter. So you can listen in on computers potentially using their speakers. Good podcast to listen to. Software-defined radio Scanner School, or just the name of the podcast is Scanner School. More info on them, scannerschool.com. A few episodes here highlighted about introduction into software-defined radios, Raspberry Pis, why you need a software-defined radio, the fundamentals about it, and really, really cool info. So plenty of, it looks like they have about 4 podcast episodes dealing with software-defined radio specifically. All right, this is K1WC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. Does anyone else have any other comments, questions, check-ins, or anything else for the net? Otherwise, I can pass a few more traffic. Let me know. Please call now. This is K1WC Net Control. Continuing on there, still on the same blog, the NOAA 2 satellite returns from the dead. Scott Tilley, amateur radio satellite watcher, has been watching the L-band transmissions at 1697.5 megahertz. It's a weather image satellite that was in operation from 1972 to 1975. So he was able to determine that it is still in operation. So Scott Tilley is a pretty prolific amateur radio satellite astronomer, and has been able to find some of these satellites come from the dead.
Is it completely functional as it was first launched, or is it just a portion of it that's kind of revived itself?
Let's take a look here. Let me drop for a moment. So it looks like the results here is they were able, Oscar Kilo 9, Sierra Golf Charlie, was able to confirm reception of the signal, making a recording, and then with the help of another user, discovered that you can actually receive an image from it. However, it's expected the camera is not actually operational. All you can get is a few gray lines indicating volt calibration and sync telemetry. So it's unknown how long the satellite will stay dead, but if you manage to receive it, just let people know. So yeah, they were able to Scott, he states about the tumbling here. The spacecraft is tumbling with a period of about 88.6 seconds. The on-off duty cycle is asymmetrical, with it on for about 28 seconds and off for about 61 seconds. Plot below shows the ragged nature of this almost 50-year-old emitter. So, semi-operational, but you won't get anything from it.
Yeah, thank you. What website is this again?
Romeo Tango Lima Sierra Delta Romeo.com. RTL-SDR.com.
Thank you.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. Yeah, well, although that one is not in operation, NOAA does have some satellites still, or definitely in operation, that you can receive weather images from, and full color resolution images. So if you look up on that site as well, there should be some more info on that. With that, though, I'll throw it back out to the net. Anyone else have any other comments, questions, check-ins, or anything else you'd like to bring up for the net? Please call now. I guess real quick here, I think maybe one of the last things I might bring up here is last week we spoke about somebody was able to receive video from one of the Falcon X9 rockets. Let's see, I don't even know if I can bring that up at the moment here, but there's been some follow-up back on that, and I didn't really hear what news outlets were reporting on this, but there's... as far as I know, Starship has always been encrypted, and Falcon 9 GPS video has never been encrypted. Both Falcon and Starship have been decoded now. However, no meaningful data will be recovered from Starship, as it employs additional encryption on top of the coding. So some people were able to get some things last week, but I think in the future they might be removing that ability. So I wish I could bring up the thing from last week. I'll try to do that if I can. But anyone else? Any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up for the net? Otherwise, we might start wrapping things up here.
W0TX repeater.
I guess one last piece of information here while we're speaking about satellite reception. GOES is another geostationary weather satellite, and somebody was able to repurpose a old DirecTV satellite dish and some cardboard and foil tape, and they were able to use it as a C-band dish for a cheap, expedient ground station. So yeah, more info on that same website, rtl-sdr.com. Building a GOES 16 antenna out of trash, cardboard, and foil tape. Okay, I don't have much more at the moment this evening. But if anybody else has any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring out for the net this evening, for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net, please call now. Okay, I'll probably start to wrap things up and then take any final check-ins, comments, or questions in just a moment here. But this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Learning Net. Thanks all for being here this evening. We put more info on our groups.io page, groups.io/g/ham learning net. We post past check-ins, topics, anything. If you have any questions about what we spoke of, you can go back and check that. Again, we do broadcast this on YouTube and put the video online. So if you want to check things there as well, that's always an option. I do put the Sunday night nets on there as well. So if you missed that, youtube.com/WEREGR8, or if you search for K1DBC or W0TX, you should be able to find that. This evening we had a total of 17 check-ins. Appreciate everyone checking in. Like to hear all the new call signs. Appreciate everyone checking in. Passerbys, appreciate that. Don't ever hesitate to email us or check in on the radio if you have any other questions at any given time. You can always email drclearningnet@gmail.com, hamlearningnet@groups.io. As Fred's mentioned, if you go to our website W0TX.org and select the officers link, you can email Fred, Fred Hart, Elmer at W0TX.org, AA0JK, call sign, again, Elmer at W0TX.org. Don't ever hesitate to chime in. If you ever want to be net control or anything on this net, let me know. I'm always more than happy to walk you through this. We have a net script online. You just kind of have to read it. I'm more than happy to take check-ins or however you'd like. So if you ever want to be net control for this net, let me know. Let me drop and see if there's anything else here. Feel free to join us on the third Wednesday of the month, 6 p.m. for an Elmers session prior to the regularly scheduled Denver Radio Club meeting at 7 p.m. We have a meeting online, W0TX.org, for more info. And the Elmers session is basically just a general Q&A. Not yet announced what the topic is, but it'll be the April the 15th. So mark your calendars for that. The 21st. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I'll take any other final check-ins, comments, questions, any last-minute traffic for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. Please call now. Okay, not hearing anything further. I'll go ahead and wrap up the net. Thank you all for being here. Thanks for checking in online. I am K1DBC Net Control. So no matter where you're at, please try to be safe and take care of yourself. And we'll speak all next week. Take care. 7-3 to all. K1DBC, I am clear. All stations, please stand by while the repeaters are placed in normal mode.
PL on.
All right, again, 7-3 to all. K1DBC, I am clear. All right, thanks for joining here on the YouTube. Hopefully I'll be putting some more stuff out. Yeah, if you ever want to see anything, I'm trying to put some more thumbnails, things like that. And we'll see what happens. But again, never any monetization on this channel. Feel free to subscribe if you want. It makes it easier to watch it on your smart TV or whatever. Never have to like or anything, though. But yeah, everyone take care.